It is Life's Wife, and I am back with another topic. So, today is going to be a pretty interesting one. I'm looking forward to you all's feedback, and if you all are willing to share any of your own personal experiences with the topic at hand. Okay, so today I will be discussing my observations and opinions on the dysfunctions both leading up to and as a result of unwed mothers, and so many unwed mothers at that. And I just want to give a disclaimer that I am speaking from both indirect and very direct experience, literally. Okay, as you see, the topic is I hope that unwed mothers become extinct. It's true. Yes, I do hope that unwed mothers become extinct. I hope that unwed and single mothers are a dying breed. Okay, so um I made a little list I'm looking at. Lips are a little bit ashy. So all right. Not the best thing to catch on video, but we're gonna keep rolling. All right. So I want to talk about how unwed mothers affect our community and our culture as a whole. I want to speak on why it is poisonous to the woman and her own children and those surrounding, those watching, the bystanders, and those that come into contact with single mothers and the children of single mothers. What must be done to counteract it? The rehabilitation of unwed and single mothers, why women must take radical responsibility for themselves and other women. Some people will call it policing. Women need to police other women. But I do believe that, in other words, women need to call out other women. Women need to hold other women accountable because it's the only way that we're going to grow. Like they say, man sharpen man. That could be taken in the literal sense, like a male human sharpens a male human, or it could just mean one human sharpens another human. Either way it goes, that is a firm belief of mine. And I'm excited to connect with some people who believe the same and will do the same for themselves and for other women, but first and foremost for themselves. Um, why single mothers must refrain from sex in order to heal. A lot of people are not going to like that. I myself was a single mother and I didn't like that. It seemed like, wait a minute, but why? Yes, it is very essential for single mothers to refrain from sex in order to completely heal. I mean, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, literally and metaphysically, literally and not literally. Um, why men should not date nor pursue sexual, where am I? Date or pursue sexual relations with single mothers, single and unwed mothers. How liberal ideals, feminism, and government assistance actually birth and fuel the dysfunction within our communities in general, but especially of unwed mothers. How other men can assist by holding both women and other men accountable, exposing agents of chaos, and rewriting your script. So, yes, that's a rundown of things I'm going to discuss. Hopefully, in that order. They may get a little mixed up. Okay. And I just want to take this time to say hello to everyone that is viewing this live and everyone that will view it later. Feel free, again, as I've stated before, feel free to share your own experiences, to ask questions, give your take on it, because I'm not claiming to be some expert. I'm not claiming that what I'm bringing to the table is the end all be all, but I want to do my part, and at the very least, at the beginning, to start a conversation, to stir up discussion about it. Because, I'm a young, considerably black woman. I'm a young black woman, and for many years I didn't have I didn't have this conversation, and I did have guidance that I did not take and I rebelled against for sake of not really understanding, and for the sake of, being in poverty or living with a mother who has liberal ideas, who she may not even know to this day. I'm not even sure, but that's almost another topic. But basically, being a product of my own environment and not soaring higher, even though my intuition and my soul was trying to lead me to that, I went off of what was around me, and I did fall to the pressures of my peers and the dysfunction of my very own mother and the mothers that surrounded me, because I was living in a Section 8 housing growing up most of my life. So you can just imagine, it's my own single mom, and we are literally surrounded by a block of single moms, go to a school full of a plethora and surplus of other children who are, born by single. So it's a vicious cycle. And that is no excuse, to victimize myself. That is no excuse to not step my game up. That is no excuse to not change. And I declare and take on the challenge of being the change by not only changing myself, but giving this information and hoping that it reaches women before they even are presented the crossroad to go left, as I did. I'm hoping that this message reaches young girls and gives them, a fresh perspective, because I do know that society and all these trends, they glorify being a whore, they glorify being a single mother, and the list goes on. If you're sitting by, or if you're living life and you're watching, you know what I mean. You understand, you resonate. So I hope that this reaches fathers, so that they can prevent it, uncles and aunties, and basically everybody in the community who can have a hand in dismantling this plague, because that's exactly what it is. Unwed and single mothers is a plague to our community. It is supported by means of giving Section 8 vouchers and food stamps. It's like, why should a woman be able to have a child and pretty much be rewarded, be taken care of, be able to fall in a safety net, if she does not follow the protocols of nature's calling, the Most High's laws, which is to only have sex with your husband? A lot of people may not like that. They may feel like it's outdated, but I had to learn the hard way. I see the importance of it. It is not healthy for you as a woman to have so many sexual partners. It's not good for your spiritual health. It's not good for your mental health. It's definitely not good for your physical health. Not even to mention the STDs that can come, but the damage to the vagina. The vagina is very, I don't want to say fragile, but it is a very precious thing, and it can be ruined if it's mixed with too many mediums, too many peoples, too many energies. So yes, I guess moving forward, getting more on the train. That is how I believe that government assistance, see, we're not really going in order, but that's definitely a reason I believe that government assistance aids in the dysfunction of unwed mothers. And it definitely ruins our culture, because it not only brings detriment to that woman, but now she feels all high and mighty, especially with these feminist beliefs and programs. Oh, a woman can do it by herself. We can do the same thing as a man. No, we can't. That is bullshit. That is a lie. A big, fat lie. A big, fat lie. Men are needed in the homes. Men are the heads of the homes. And everyone that does not obey will soon reap the repercussions and punishment for thee. No single mom is out there happy. None. They are dealing with a plethora of mental and spiritual issues, and for the simple fact that we often go so long of a time not even truly being aware of our own demise, it in turn only worsens over the years, and it's just passed down and passed over. So yes, I may be rambling, but I'm doing my best to adhere to my calling, which is to at least speak about it. So I hope that these words are received well, and yes, I try to get back on topic. Okay. Um. So, what's next? Okay. Um. I will say that it definitely sets a bad example for our young women that grow up under unwed and single mothers, especially if, as I've mentioned, those women don't decide to abstain and refrain from sex and having different men in the home outside of that young girl's father. It definitely sends out a subconscious message that it is okay to, just up and move along like that when it is not. We should be taking breaks on sex if we find ourselves being a single mother. We need to really, what's the word? Reflect. We really need to reflect on what even got us in that situation. Now, of course, this can be case by case because, like, if you were molested or raped, that's obviously much different, I would like to assume. So, I'm not speaking on that. I assume that would be an exception. But continuing to date and have sex and have been present in your home, in your life, and around your children after you have already became a single or unwed mother, it is very poisonous to yourself. Because for one, you're only collecting more baggage. You obviously did not deal with your last situation, which even got you in this situation. And it's very poisonous to your children, especially if you have a young girl watching you. It 9 times out of 10 will lead her on the path of being rebellious and promiscuous. And even if you have a son, I'm not a son, obviously, I'm not a little boy, so I don't know how exactly it may affect young men and young boys, but I would like to assume that it embeds a level of distrust in them for women and for their mothers because they couldn't even see their mothers see it through and be loyal to their fathers. Like, of course, that would be an exception if the dad was like abusive or your molester or rapist. But I'm just talking about the average, you know, the other side of things. So, yes. And oftentimes, these children, a lot of people like to pretend and spread the lies that a woman can raise a child by herself, a happy and wholesome child. That is just false. Through everything I've seen, through all that I've experienced by being raised by a single mother, it's false. It just is. That child may be scholastically, academically smart, and do well in school and sports, because I was also that child, making straight A's, A and B, honor roll, the top of my class, if not the first, the second, or at least the third, top of my class. But I was struggling internally. I was struggling spiritually and with my own self-confidence and how to relate to men. I was struggling terribly. I still struggle, but I was definitely struggling, far worse then, because now I've scratched the surface of awareness. But anyways, I digress. Um, so yes, single mothers, of course, they can raise children who are obedient to school and obedient to jobs. That's, we're all kind of slaves in a sense. But anyways, that's another topic. Um, Ultimately, it does ruin the mind and spirits of children. And even surrounding, because now your hurt children can be infecting other children who may not even be necessarily dealing with the same thing, but because they outnumber the children who may have two-parent homes, they're oftentimes making those children feel bad, on many different levels. If you are one of the groups, you would know. And I guess with all this being said, my goal is to be a Debbie Downer. I do believe that single mothers can rehabilitate. It will take a lot of work. It will take a lot of effort. It will take a lot of reflection. It will take a lot of solitude, but it can be done. And even when you are on the other side of rehabilitation, which I have yet to reach, I'm still in my own process. There's no promise that, everything's going to be all peachy and cream. It's never going to be the same. You're never going to have the opportunities that you had before you became that. It's just, we all know that's how life goes, and that's pretty much with anything. After certain situations, you can recover, you can bounce back, but it's not like it's ever going to be the same. Even in relationships, when whether it's with a family member or a loved one or a romantic, when certain things are jeopardized, when certain trusts are jeopardized, it's just never going to be the same. You can make a new path. So I'm not saying for people to lose hope, but we just got to be honest about where we are and what we've done and the effects of it and the price that we will have to pay. We have to be honest about that and accept that wholeheartedly if we do want to grow and change. I feel like what must be done to counteract this is, in some senses, I would love to see government assistance be taken away, because it would force women to make better decisions. It will force women to reflect upon their own actions, and it will force women to level up. We're in that time. Everybody's talking about it on so many different levels. But I mean, since the new jam by Sierra is out, it's time to level up. If those safety nets were not there, what would you do? You know, you wouldn't just up and leave. You wouldn't disrespect men the way that you do. You wouldn't just carry your life, even outside of a man. You wouldn't carry your life the way that you do. And I almost hate to sound so confident, but that's a guarantee. That's definitely a guarantee. It's the fact that women believe, and they do have so many options, that they act in that dysfunction and impulsive way, because they know, oh, if I fuck up here, I can go get on Section 8, I can go get on Medicaid, or I can, just move along, I could date a simple, whatever. There's just too many options that keep women away from taking responsibility and owning up and taking responsibility and accountability. So yes, again, there is redemption, but it will take a lot of effort. Well, it will take a surmountable amount of effort and true intent. And the universe, the Lord, the Most High knows your heart. So you will get what you deserve, left or right, on the negative or the positive. You will get what you deserve. We all do. You get what you deserve, and you get what you allow. Period. Let me see. Oh, so I've kind of went over a little bit why I believe that single mothers, unwed mothers, should refrain from sex. Because you do need to heal all levels. You do need to reflect upon your last decision and your life patterns, the turns you've taken. It's like a GPS. You got to check where you are, what did you do to get you there and to get you out, so on. Um, and I think I've kind of touched a little bit on why I believe that men should not date nor sexually pursue unwed single mothers. And if I haven't, then I'm about to. Um, it is, quite frankly, it's a disgrace. You know, quite frankly, it is a disgrace, literally. It's disgraceful. It is without grace that these things happen. A man without children should be pursuing, if even he's at the level to pursue, should be pursuing a woman without children. And the same for women. Women without children should pursue or be pursued by men without children. Um, it teaches it teaches the people with children a lesson. You have to stay in a particular bracket. And then knowing that you will be, hopefully, you will be inspired to make particular choices and decisions to, you know, evolve yourself and evolve your options. But women, if we are giving women and men the treat of being with someone without children, without those type of responsibilities or strings attached to earth, they don't have much to shoot for. And I say that because I was a woman without children, and found myself dating a man with 3 children. And I just, along me being like along with me being pretty much the female version of what they call a simp, I was simpish. I think that's what they call it. I was young and I felt like I had so much love in my heart, but I was also rebellious. So, I was hurting. I had daddy issues. I was missing my father, and I found myself dating someone who was like 30 years my senior and helping them take care of their 3 children. Well, not like it was just full time, but still, I allowed myself to date someone with 3 children who was 30 years my senior. Had I had more confidence, had I had more game, had I had more guidance, that would have never happened. And, I ended up being the bearer for the 4th child of that person. And it drastically took down my value, how I view myself, how the world view me. It took away from what I was able to do, how you just the way I was able to maneuver, so on and so forth. So I'm a firm believer that that man should not have gotten my time. I should have left him to the other women with children. That's just being straight up. I still feel the same way. People, vice versa, when it comes to me. I decided to, even though I was 18, 19, you got to tough it up when you make decisions, no matter if you were not in the know. Like I said, there is redemption, there is forgiveness, but you also got to take accountability because women like to talk about their intuition all the time. Oh, I knew he was cheating. I knew he was trifling. Your intuition tell you everything, you know, that you want to know. But like, what do you need to know? And I say that because my intuition was kind of telling me, even though I was young and I wasn't very sure, my intuition was telling me this is not a good idea. You shouldn't be here. And it just kind of sucks ass that the final time I did, the last straw, when I'm like, you know what, I don't deserve this. I am young. At this time I had so many model offers. My body was slim in shape. I had so many, I was very brilliant in school. So I basically had so many offers. And I was like, you know what? I should leave this dude. He giving me trouble. He giving me a headache. I'm young. I shouldn't be dating, period. But especially not somebody who's my father's age. What am I doing? And I did leave. And you know what? A month after I left him, I went to a new state back to live with my family. I found out I was pregnant, and sometimes, being quite honestly, I do wish that I would have had the strength then to maybe, have an abortion, because this older man was trying to take advantage of me. He thought that that would keep me to him. He even told me out of his own mouth, through his own words, yeah, nobody's gonna want you now. You might as well come back. So, though I was preyed upon, I take full responsibility and accountability because I put myself in a position to be preyed upon, you know? So, yes, um, I may be bouncing around. May the heavens forgive me. I'm doing my best to really, you know, get this message out. Um, so yes, women should not entertain, i.e., aka date or sexually pursue single unwed fathers, and single men, like men without children, definitely should not um date or sexually pursue single mothers. Men can tell you more um about the dangers of, because they see it from a man perspective. I'm obviously not a man, but I do know and I have heard that there's an issue with women putting, the children before the relationship, basically sucking up resources. The children are eating up resources, finances, time, and then she has to, sometimes, most times, has the baby father drama. That's a lot for a man to deal with. That's why it was intended for you only to have sex with your husband. That's why it's intended for women to be married as virgins. You know, it's in the books, it's in the scriptures, it's taught everywhere. Some people think it's outdated. They want to be so free, so liberal, all these slut walks and stuff like that. But the truth of the matter is, it bring nothing but chaos. It bring nothing but havoc. It bring nothing but heartbreak. And it's hard being a single mother. The shit is hard. When you don't have a man, you trying to raise another man or even just raise a girl. It's hard. Nobody's gonna tell you that. That shit, I probably said it 1,000 times, but it's hard. It's very hard. It's hard on your spirit. It's hard on your mind. It's hard on your body. It's hard on everything. You know? It is literally a plague. When I say that, I mean it so literally. So literally. That shit is difficult, man. It's very difficult. I don't wish that on nobody. I won't wish it on my worst enemy. Okay, so next I'm going to talk a little bit about how liberal ideals, feminism, and government assistance practically birth and fuel dysfunction in general, but especially of unwed mothers. And I kind of talked on this with the government housing. But these liberal ideas, you can do what you want, body, open the trash can and slam dunk it. Throw it away. That shit's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? That's bullshit. You have a purpose as a woman. You have a purpose as a creation. You are a creator, but you are also a creation. And there are guidelines, there are laws, and there are rules that are written for you as a woman. By outside, by Yah, by Jah, by Allah, by God, by the universe, whatever you want to call it. You feel it. It's something in you that you feel. And even if you don't feel it, it's written, it's all over the place. But you have to seek your own purpose, and you have to obey by the footsteps of leading you to your purpose. Women have a purpose. We are multipliers. We are receivers. We are many things. I'm learning myself. I don't know everything, obviously. But yeah, it's there is a divine purpose for woman, and it's not to be sleeping around talking about I can do what I want with my body, my choice, I wear what I want, I fuck who I want. That's not the purpose for women. And you will learn, if you are a woman, even if you are a man, you will learn women are very precious items. And I say that as in, they should not be tossed. They need stability. They should not be tossed and shared all around the place. You will be easily ruined, sad to say. You will be. I myself, I can attest, I am a living testament. There's no way around it. They want to be equal to men. They want to say that, oh, well, men do it. Men can have multiple wives. Women can't have multiple husbands functionally. Like, on the real, no, because a woman can only carry one man's child at a time. A man can plant seeds in multiple women all at once. if he so chooses. Not saying that's for everybody, but if he so chooses, that right there is a we're just different, and you have to accept that. You have to embrace that, and when you do, you will find more peace. You will find more joy in being a woman. You know, just I would say it's my advice. Just submit to the Most High. Just submit to your divine order. Don't wish that you were something or someone else. You were born into this lifetime as a woman. You have certain roles, you have certain duties, you have certain purposes to make the world harmonious, to keep it going, to keep the peace. Don't be disruptive. And if you are disruptive, with my words, I will call you out. With my light, I will shine. Even within my own self, I'm speaking. Even within my own self, I will annihilate every chance, every chaotic bone in my body, every chaotic urge, and every agent of chaos that I see around. I will do that with my life, with my breath, with my words. That's what I will do. That's what I'm committing myself to, because I'm tired of sitting by silent, seeing the world go into, like, we're like on the highway to hell, you know, in the fastest car or whatever. We're like on the highway to hell, and I refuse to stand by. I refuse to be silent. You know, I'm gonna speak up. I'm gonna speak out, and I'm gonna be the change. Starting with myself, and starting these discussions. But yes, these are liberal ideas. They are very toxic to humankind. They are very toxic to harmony. They are very toxic to peace. They are actually the exact opposite of reaching nirvana. It's hell. It's hell on earth, literally. Um, Feminism isn't even so much of feminine, literally. It's like this whole feminist movement is like a man hate coven. It's like women coming together. They want to be in competition with men. We are not men. I'm learning to love to even be a woman. We just aren't men. You don't want those responsibilities anyway. So don't try to do what they do. What they do and things they are allotted to do are, it's like a balance or a reward of the also very long list of responsibilities they have. Us women, we have a different set of responsibilities. Therefore, we have a different, line of what we can and can't do. We have a different line of duties, and we have a different line of, you know, functions. That's if you plan on being functional. So don't know about you guys, but I definitely do. Um and another thing I want to talk about is how other men can assist. That's my stomach. So the other thing I want to talk about is how other men can assist by holding women responsible, holding women and other men accountable and responsible. So one of those reasons, as I spoke on earlier, is by not giving them, sexual attention or pursuit, because that is a reward. Don't give women that. That will assist them, because that will force them to step up their game. And ask them those questions that force them to reflect. Ask them those questions that, this is if you're not obligated to do this. No one is. But this is if it's your daughter, niece, or, a woman in your community that you may care for, or not even care for, like, it don't have to be so personal or even romantic at all. But, that's just one way. If you are the uncle, the brother, ask these questions, hold them accountable, make them think, bear logic. And you know, a lot of women would like to just complain and make a cop out that the men prey on us. There are some men that prey on us. I was I was preyed on myself, but that doesn't dismiss our own accountability and responsibility. Like I said, I allow myself to be in that situation. So yes, men prey on us, but that's probably not even half of the issue. But where it is a large issue, yes, other men should call out other men being so much older and hitting on younger women, or just being a dysfunctional male and hitting on a functional woman. Like, there should be a separation. People of this sort, they need to go over there. People of that sort, there needs to be a form of separation. Like, I know we're in this time of, you know, and don't get me wrong, I guess on a spiritual tip, there are things that are interconnected, intertwined, but not everything should be intertwined. Not everything should be interconnected. And that's not something that has to be, that is something that's being forced, but that should not be accepted, that we are all just one big, no, we're not. There's differences, there are levels, there are hierarchies. It's rules, it's levels, it's order. Nature has order, you know. But anyways, so yeah. Um, call out other men. Men help us out, you know. Okay. But women, you gotta help yourself first. And women, you gotta call out other women. You know what they call it, policing. Yeah, women, you gotta call out other women. Um, exposing agents of chaos kind of goes hand in hand. And rewriting your script, because a lot of people want pure empathy for people who end up in these situations, and I don't see that as being the end all be all. Well, yes, these women have to have empathy for their own selves. They have to have love for their own selves, and rewrite your script, because yes, we all to some degree are victims of miseducation, or we are, I guess, what's it, not victims, but we all to some degree experience miseducation. This is America. God damn it. Childish Gambino said it best, or maybe someone else, but since I'm young, he's the one I know about. So, this is America. It is a corporation. It literally is ran on people's dysfunctions and insecurities. The beauty industries make so much money. Like, even, that's one thing I want to speak about too, because even I got these fake eyebrows on and I hate them, and now I realize I was so much more beautiful just as God made me. So that's kind of what all these things talk about, in a sense. Like, don't be an abomination, don't rebel against God, don't rebel against order. You're only gonna make a big mess. So yes, we are in America. It runs on people's insecurities. It runs on dysfunctions. It has to have people sick to even run, because it has to sell this medicine. It has to sell these shoes. It has to, like, we make it go with our own dysfunctions and insecurities. So yes, you can rewrite your script. It will take much effort and intention. There's no way in fooling the universe. You will always have to pay for what you purchase. You will always have to answer to the cause of, you always have to reap what you sow. It is a divine order. And when you don't, you will be punished in many ways, whether it is good that you do not reap, and whether it's good that you sow and do not reap, or whether it is quote unquote bad, or not quote unquote, but whether it is, blatant bad that you sow and reap. You will have to answer to those calls. You will be held accountable by the universe. There is no way out. There's no way around it. The only way out is through. I think that's how I go. Okay, so yes, I am also bearing hope and joy. Be glad that you found out. I know it can be devastating, because when I first was, made aware of my own demise and my own self-sabotage, it was terrifying. It was humiliating. It was, I cried. I cried a lot of nights. I probably even cried this morning. So I was thinking, because now that I am aware, I feel, I hurt and I weep for even the people who I know who don't even have the slightest of a clue. So, yes, I'll say it again and again. You can rewrite your script. It will take much effort and intention, but it is possible. And while you are the in the process of rewriting a script, seek solitude as much as possible. You don't need to be around other people. It's just like having a cold. Literally, because that's what it is. It's a chronic disease. It's like AIDS or something. When you are aware that you have an issue, you need to kind of keep it to yourself. Keep it to a minimum of how many people that you even interact with and come in contact with, because you can infect them too. And I know that because I've been around. Actually, now I'm actually in a situation where I've been so highly favored and blessed to even be in this situation. But you know, I am living. I was lucky enough, blessed enough to be, as much as I would like to call it roommates. There is a young man that is helping me out tremendously by even giving me this game that I was so unaware of for all my 22 years of living. And, he has allowed me a place where I can stay and rehabilitate myself. But even that is coming to an end, because, both consciously and unconsciously, I have, brought my dysfunctions, and they've had no choice but to, expound, because I haven't dealt with them, in a healthy manner before today. Anyways, I've been on a constant journey of healing and facing myself. But before then, I was making a big mess, spreading my infection all over the place. And I burned a bridge or two, maybe even more, doing so. So my advice to other people is, when you are healing, you need to seek solitude as much as possible. Don't ruin your reputation. Like, while you are in that state, go and be by yourself. No one really needs to see you or even know that you exist for a moment. It may sound harsh or crazy or extreme, but in some senses it's very true and very literal. Um, I will also be talking about that in another video. Uh, the I don't want a man, don't need a man syndrome, and how ill, mentally, emotionally, spiritually ill women also infect other healthy people, or they infect healthy people by feeling entitled somehow. But anyways, it's been about 45 minutes. I know we're only at 41. I'm out, guys. I hope this message reached some people, was able to help some people. And again, looking forward to your feedback and looking forward to my journey of healing. All right, humans, it is Life's Wife, and I'm out. Peace.